Hey everybody, Mike at Undiscovered Classics here. Thank you so much for all of the love that you guys showed on the last video. It was really encouraging to see how many people viewed it. I really didn't expect that much. If you've been a longtime subscriber here, thank you for sticking around. If you're new, maybe even as of the last video or this video, thanks for joining us. And if you're watching this and you like what you see and you want to see interesting cars that you've never seen before, give that subscribe button a hit, and I promise you, you will see stuff that you're not going to see on anybody else's channel. You're going to see how we go from this,
the donor car, one C3 Corvette,
to this,
I don't even know what day it is anymore,
to this, to this,
The car is officially sitting on the chassis.
and then ultimately to this. But this is the type of video that I want to feature more on the channel, these kind of revivals, these more in-depth, how we're going from basically a wreck of a car to a restored version that's on the road. One of the cars you're going to see on the channel for these future revival, will it run, can we get it roadworthy, is this beautiful car. So this is a 1952 Allied Swallow. It's a copy of the Cisitalia 202 Coupe designed by Pininfarina, an iconic design in 1947. I'm going to start working with some independent designers and some potential merch companies to see what opportunities might be out there to start actually producing things. You know, we've got a deep bench of digital designs of these cars, historic photos, lots of different logo versions of Undiscovered Classics. But I need you guys to tell me what you'd be interested in. Do you want hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, stickers? What kind of cars do you want to see featured on any type of the merch? Let me know down in the comments, and as we're moving forward on trying to produce this stuff so it's available for you guys, I want to make sure it's what you want. And lastly, I do just want to say thanks so much. That last video, we picked up nearly 1,000 new subscribers, which is incredible. I'm so happy that there are people out there that are as interested in these cars as much as all of us are. As always, I look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. Enjoy the video.
We're back at the farms. Today is the day, not for one of these Kaisers, but to merge, cut apart, and then merge again. My donor Corvette. Do you remember what year this is? 79, 80, 80, 78? I don't remember what year it is.
I think by now it's been out here a couple years, probably 72.
Yeah, it's aging like a fine steak, like all the other cars that stay out here. So this is going to come home, and this body is going to come off. It's actually kind of a shame because this is kind of one of the cooler bodies, but I'm going to try to be as nice to it as possible. I'd like to take the body off and allow it to be resold. Maybe somebody actually wants it. I mean, there's a million C3 Corvettes, but this one's actually kind of cool. But this is the donor car that Jeff and Rob were able to source for me and went and checked out, and all of the chassis is in good shape. It's apparently a high power 350, which for this year is probably not all that impressive still, but it is a 4-speed, which is what I wanted the most. So this is the donor car, one C3 Corvette, becoming the donor for my C3 Victress, which should still be hiding over here. There it is in the corner. And it has its own Corvette grille from a prior generation Vet. I think that's a C2 grill. I don't think it's a C1 grill. So a really popular thing that we've been doing across a lot of our cars. Whoa, the livestock is restless. Okay. A thing we've been doing across a lot of our cars is converting them to C3 chassis for a number of different reasons. One, the wheelbase works out almost universally with little to no modification in most instances. And two, they're so easy to find because there's literally a million of them, and they're still affordable, which is great. C1 and C2 chassis would be cooler because they're older, but a C3 chassis is going to be better performing and easier to find parts for and more affordably. So the plan is we're going to load up the Corvette today, which is Tuesday afternoon, and we're going to see how long it takes me to struggle with getting the body off of the chassis. And then once those two things have been separated, we'll come back for this one and do the inverse. I'm going to have to be a little bit cautious about how I take some stuff apart here. I really don't want to ruin the dash, although there's not much to it. So I might have to be a little bit more precise with how this comes apart, especially, as some of you might recall, this really cool steering wheel, which, is it frozen up? No, it's not. Yeah, there we go. The Fat Man wheel, the custom Fat Man wheel to get in and out. I'm hoping that I can probably find some way to adapt this to the Corvette C3 steering column. I don't really want to reuse this column because, well, why would I? It's already got one in the other car and it's aligned and, well, not aligned, but you know what I mean. It's where it needs to be. So all of this will have to come out to some extent. Not that there's much left of it. Not that there's much left of it anyway. Mostly plywood, but I'll probably keep some in place so that I can mock up a temporary 2x4 and plywood floorboard so I can actually ideally put a seat back into the chassis of the Corvette so that this thing could be moved under its own power. The body will be temporarily attached to the chassis, not final attachment, but just so the two are married enough for transport and maybe some very sketchy driving around the block. But you might also remember, if this will cooperate, I don't remember which way it's hinged on the front. Looks pretty gross, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it open. This has a Buick nail head in it, but it is toast. Even though this thing was kept inside, it was basically kept under a burst pipe for years and years, and the motor was suffering as a result of that. And it's just full of water, so it is completely locked up. I mean, there's not even an intake on it. At least I don't think there is, but no carb. I mean, there's leaves in the valve cover, and as cool as it would be to put this back into service, I've got the Corvette motor and it's running and driving. So I'm going to try to keep as much of this inner fender well structure as possible. This is just fiberglass mat that wasn't finished, but I really don't want to mess with this inner structure if I can avoid it. And I guess we'll just see how the two adapt to each other and keep cutting away until they get closer. That'll have to be fixed, but that's okay. Actually, it's so pleasant out here with the birds chirping and a nice breeze. It's almost tempting to take a nap. But between everything that lives out here, it might be hiding in holes under the ground. Probably not the best place. Oh yeah. What do you mean lost it? Like it's off the... Oh. Oh yeah, look at that. Well, you know what my luck is with horrible tires.
Whoa! Can you straighten the wheel out?
Sure, I just wasn't sure if the door cleared the fender or not. Look to the...
One way. Yeah, left. More left. More left. A little more.
Oh.
A little to the right. Cool.
Oh, look, a frog.
What's wrong?
There's a frog living in the B pillar.
Oh.
I think living. Oh yeah, I see his little gullets going. Oh, there he goes. All right.
For a little bit. You can close the door.
All right. Bye, frog. Nice. Yep. Perfecto.
Is it out of gear? You said.
Oh, I checked. Yeah, the keys are in it too.
Checking it out.
My nap time blanket. It's already got those prickly spurs on it. Come on. There we go. Beautiful. Maybe I should take a nice little nap. This is a beautiful sight down Kaiser Alley here. Snatch block time. Is that cool? We don't want to hurt the DM Nacional. It's pristine. Yeah, it's straightened out.
I know, that's really good.
Sweet. I love it when a plan comes together. Now, personally, I think the Victress is much prettier than this, but I wish it was one of the ugly bodies because I do kind of feel badly about taking this body off. Corvette's back here at Jeff's carport, and the destruction is going to begin. So first, we've got to pop the wheels off, get this thing up on jack stands in the opposite order, obviously, and that'll allow us to access the little portholes where the body mount locations are. You're going to try to save the front clip. It's actually the only interesting thing about the car, and the rest of it, probably going to wreck. Last night, I got the car up on jack stands, got the wheels busted off of it in preparation of getting access to the body mount locations, and I talked to Rob, and unsurprisingly, the only thing that's really worth worrying about is the front clip as far as resale value. That's worth the hassle. Pretty much from the firewall back, no one's going to care about, especially that poorly bondoed 90s-ish spoiler thing on the back. So, from the firewall back, I'm going to carve it up, because if it gets in my way or delays me, I'm just going to get it out of my way as quickly as possible. So, that passenger door won't open, and I've tried, so I'm just going to cut the catch, cut the hinges, get the stuff out of the way quick. There we go. Maybe I should have started with kicking it. Well, body mount bolt is in there. Door has to come off. I don't really care how the door comes off, so it's going to come off the way I want, which is hopefully the easy way. Close enough to break it off. Not quite. Maybe. Cool. All right. And so I think the mount is accessed from the kick panel here. Let's go cut another door off. I am absolutely ruining this blade, but I've got very limited space to work in. Maybe I'm lucky enough that that is broken enough now. Yeah, cool. Good enough. That works. God, these cars. For being fiberglass, these things are absolute pigs. All right, now that I've had the calming experience of ripping out the interior, one of the things I'm thinking about doing here, the bird cage seems like it's in good shape. The floor plans are okay. This is all fiberglass, which could be adapted to the Victress and will result in me not having to do a buttload of fabrication down the road. These kick plates are fiberglass, and then it transfers to metal here at the lip. So worst case scenario, I would just cut out the metal floor pan, leave the fiberglass stuff at the front and the back, and make my own floor pan. But having watched Corey's videos, I know that's quite involved. And this is actually pretty solid, except for here. But that's not so bad. That really, it's pretty solid right on the curve here. This is okay. So a little patch there, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I think it's worth trying to save these and drop it in underneath the Victress body. I've got a bolt back there, a bolt back there, and I think, hoping, those are going to be the ones I get lucky with first. So I think I'm going to go try to take those out and see what kind of cooperation I get. Give me my safety glasses here. This is the one I'm hoping we get lucky with. It is 16. Throw this on the impact driver and see what happens. Probably just spin until eternity, but maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, well, it's loose. The carriage bolt up top, oh man, I remember watching this from other videos. That pocket that it sits in doesn't really provide much of a place for leverage. It's close quarters in here. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, good. A second set of hands.
This is disgusting.
Yeah, it's really gross.
It's
Speed
funny.
hole. Speed hole.
I used to have one of my first cars. I threw the garbage out through the hole. I did.
So you were a litter bug. That's terrible.
Back in the 70s. No, that was the thing to do.
Oh, God. Did that vice grip fall off inside that pocket that's up there in the back corner of the package tray?
Inside?
Looks like it.
Okay. Probably want to spin right off. You should just be able to lean in. I just need someone to grab get hands on it while I hit it with the impact. Ready?
Yeah.
Exactly what I thought would happen.
What's that?
The blade broke off. We're back. There's been some progress. The 4 body mount bolts in the back are out. I just cut them because why do I care? And, you know, rust and other issues. The interior's out and it's not so bad, except for over there. Which is really not that big of a deal. It's just the lower pan, so that's relatively easy fix if I keep the tub for this and adapt it to the Victress. So next are the bolts in here and in there. I've been working on that one, but the Sawzall blades are just getting eaten up very quickly. So I went to the store because I burned through a bunch of them already and got the heavy duty ones. We'll see if those are any better. I had considered using the cutoff wheel, but I do want to keep this structure relatively intact in case I decide to adapt it, so I really don't want to cut into it until I know that I am going to get rid of it or not. Finally! Good Lord. Did that take long enough or what? Alright. Where did that punch go? Let's see. Ooh. Here's where we're at. The back 4 bolts are out. These 2 are finally out. I'm sure there was a better way to do them, and I'm still convinced that a corded Sawzall is better than a battery-powered one. But even as tempting as it was to do it a different way with the death wheel, I just felt like that was too small of an area, and that thing was going to catch and just be brutal. So got it done. Didn't lose an eye or a finger. So far so good. We got 2 more body mounts up front. And before we get to those, because it's going to be easier with the front clip off, we're going to work on taking the entire clip off. It actually can come off together for the most part. And pretty much, I think I already said it, pretty much from the firewall back, there's really nothing of value. So I'm going to be nice to the front clip. That'll be available for sale. And hopefully it cooperates. So we're going to get going on taking all of the attachment points apart, starting with the hood. So hood comes off, radiator needs to be drained and pulled, along with the air conditioning. And a bunch of bolts on the side and down below. And I'll take the hammer drill to the seams behind the fenders with the doors out of the way, which actually did end up needing to be off to do that, so no regrets taking those off. The next day here in the morning, we're back at it. I am beat to hell and sore, but that's just how this goes. But Jeff and I are planning on going out to the farms to pick up the Victress, because we're at a point with this thing where the front clip should be good to come off. We'll see if one more adjustment's necessary. As I was thinking about it, after all the work was done, if I'm going to keep this tub and these floors, I probably didn't need to take out those back bolts. Thankfully, they were the easiest ones, so I don't feel too bad about that. At least the easiest 2 are the ones that may have been able to stay in place, but whatever. We're learning here as we go. So let's open it up, get some sunshine in, and see if we can't get this front clip off. So everything's undone. It's nice and loose, but it still didn't want to slide off. And so Rob came by and he suggested that slice out the core support because, well, it's not supporting anymore down there. So it needed to be replaced anyway. And frankly, it's not going to go back into being part of the car. It's just on the clip, so I don't really care about it. That'll take some pressure off of it pulling towards the middle. And then these brackets are probably pressing in. So I think between the core support cut and maybe wedging and pushing, this thing should be ready to go. By and large, it came off pretty okay. You know, I was able to get the bonded panel away. This side came out really great. The other side, not so much. Maybe you'll see it, but I'm going to focus on the good side. That'll need some repair over there, though. And that was the one I started on. So I learned the next Corvette C3 that I tear apart for a project should go easier, unless it's, of course, rustier. Okay, after this was giving me some frustration this morning, figured out exactly what the problem was. I was not looking in the right spot. I forgot I've seen people take off the bumper cover to detach this, which is connected to the vacuum canister, da-da-da-da-da-da. So I cut through that because I'm done dealing with rusty bolts, and I think, okay, this should be it, maybe? Well, definitely got a lot of movement. The whole thing is... Oh, this is tiresome. And just for good measure, even though it's doing nothing. What more do you want? Why don't I just zip out what I can over there? Be done with this never-ending soap opera. Up-ba-da-ba-da. Finally! Good riddance. Off with you. Be gone. The next one will be easier? Question mark? Okay. Okay. I might as well just cut all that stuff and leave long trails for whoever's gonna buy this clip. Alternator to headlights, back to fuse panel. I don't care. Bye-bye. AC line? Is that gonna cooperate and come through? Nope. So, bye-bye to you. Is it time? Are you ready to depart? Sure seems like it. It's being held on by that one wire. It's all the way over there. No. and a bye-bye. Of course, that didn't cut all the way through because why would it? It's the last thing to do with this clip. And it's been a pain all the way through. Finally. Good Lord. Water break. Okay, after a brief hiatus, took some more stuff off down here. This can all, well actually this all has to stay obviously because of the sway bar connection. But I do know I have to cut a couple inches off back, which is not a problem since it overhangs more than I need. But I've been going to town with the gasket scraper to get this loose, and it seems mostly happy. Because I need to make a cut for what I think I can save and integrate into the Victress firewall. And the base of the windshield's right in the way, so I prefer to not sawzall through the glass. And there's no cracks or anything, so if it comes out of here in one piece, which I remain doubtful, maybe somebody can use it. Oh, and if you were thinking to yourself earlier, man, the car doesn't look that bad, it shouldn't be a donor. It's toast. Okay. So close to still being useful, not a pile of tempered glass shards. Oh, success. Now what? We'll lean it up against the Allied for now, just to have it on a soft base somewhere. Ta-da! Great. Now comes the fun part. Some more zzz, zzz, and eventually some. See how fatigued that is? Didn't even want to retain its shape, so like I said, don't sweat it. This thing is garbage. At least the stuff I don't want. I mean, look at all this. Getting closer. It looks better already. What I'm trying to save is this section because I really want to keep the steering column in place because the pedal assembly is hung off of it. Da 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 da. I don't know if the firewall location will line up with the Victress, but we're gonna give it a shot once we do some more cutting here, take some more measurements, and if we're lucky, maybe I just have to trim some of this out, which would be great. It's looking worse, but getting better. All right, windshield is out successfully. Took some measurements. It might actually line up, which would be great. I might just trim things back to suit. I just don't want to mess with the whole assembly here since it'll actually allow me to drive the car still. So, we're zipping off the back now. Can't wait to cut this stupid spoiler off. It spoils the car. £1 million of Bondo apparently are the match for a battery. Okay. Didn't expect that to be full of water. Getting there. That might be close enough. All right, I think I'm done for the night. Okay, here we are. It's the next day. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Day 3 of the build, 2.5. What even is time? But I've been more closely assessing what will work with the Victress, and the roll hoop of the bird cage actually seems like it'll fit really nicely under the current roof line. So I think I'm going to end up keeping a lot more of the bird cage than I thought. I made my cuts already. I'm going to keep this in place. The windshield in the rear here, that's just going to lift right out, and hopefully, like the front windshield, the back windshield doesn't break. That would be nice. It's very loose. There's not going to be too much left here to do with any luck. I don't want to speak too soon because that's been just my luck on this, but it's pretty close, so hopefully a couple quick more zips and I can peel this off by myself. Made some pretty good progress there. I was able to take the quarter panels off pretty nicely and set them aside because Rob wanted to keep them. I got the gas tank out, which was a major accomplishment, and now I'm starting to take a closer look at the package tray here. Made my cuts a little bit different side to side because I was kind of going in blind. But looking at this, I think I might be able to adapt a lot of this and fiberglass it into the inside of the back of the Victress. I don't even think I have to cut the back of the chassis. I'm not too sure. I have a feeling it might fit into the body line. We'll see. But because I wasn't able to see what I was doing here, this has a little bit more left on the top of it. The other side is a little bit less together. I don't know. I got a lot to figure out here, but I'm hopeful that this will result in a lot less fabrication once things start going together. I'm only going to be able to get so far this time around, and this is really setting me up for success to ship the car. It's better to ship one car combined than two separately. And taking a closer look again here, I'll probably end up taking out the bird cage at some point to make some rust repairs, but overall I'm really pleased that I can adapt it. And the damage on one side to the other, as far as rust goes, is pretty comparable. It's really not too bad. It's just metal. This isn't really all that fatigued, but where the vertical meets the lower horizontal in that inside corner, there's some rot. I think we're officially at the point where we have to head back to the farms and pick up the Victress to make these two cars one. All right, bring the Victress out of the dark hole that it's lived in.
Recording?
It is.
I can see from here.
Yeah, and they can see you with your your gash wound.
That's right. From
Bandage.
moving Mike's, this Mike week is dangerous. Look what's happened to me already.
Yeah, well, you'll learn your
This
lesson
happened
for
during
next
Mike
time.
week.
Yeah,
All these cars.
all of it.
These
They
are
weren't
all
here.
yours now, Mike.
I'll take a couple of them.
Congratulations.
Yeah, just a
All right.
few. All right. Here she comes. Out of the dark cave into the light. Clear this thing out before we hit the road. Passenger door. Door panel, which is very boring. Not too much design going on there. Driver's side door. All right. Oh, and the rubber gaskets for the back windshield. That frog just jumped right into my ear. I hope it wasn't poisonous. Okay. Corvette is about as far as I think I can take it without the Victress body off its chassis, or what's left of it. So, now that I've got one car cut apart and nothing back together, let's go cut another car apart. Yep. That makes sense. Craig is working on his awesome Roadmaster here. So front clip, hood, back bumper, got the rear window out all by myself. That's not broken. Rob took the front windshield glass because a tree fell on his Corvette, so he can have that. Pretty proud of myself, if nothing else, for getting both windshields out alone and without breaking either one of them. So I'm going to leave this strapped on for now so it doesn't go rolling on me. And let's just take a look at the interior here. So I'm going to save some of this stuff. I'm probably going to model the dash in a similar fashion. I like this heavy padding, but this is just all plywood. I mean, there's nothing in here that's actually a good dashboard. And then you can see the problem for why the Corvette is so good with these older chassis. Before the ones that sat between the chassis rails, you have to sit on the chassis rails, so there's not as much room. This will actually allow you to sit down, give you more headroom. I'm not a particularly tall guy, but that'll be beneficial. So I'm going to take this out. I really like this dark green interior with the way they did this roll, tuck and roll. One, both, I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to take that out, save it. I want to pattern the new back seat off of this, or at least the rear package tray. I don't know if there is going to be a back seat, probably not. So what's the point? It's just going to be decorative anyway. But this is kind of interesting. I was trying to figure out, okay, so this was a show car in its previous life, but no gas filler neck here, no gas filler neck there, nothing here. So how do they fill it with gas? the rear package tray has this panel that comes out. And there's the inlet. Obviously there'd be glass here, so you'd have to like bring your gas pump hose into the car, probably sliding this window out of the way, and like Jenga yourself in here and fill it and hope that you don't spill gas all over your interior when you are putting it in or taking it out. So I appreciate the aesthetic quality of hiding it, but the practicality of that, probably not so great. So let's start taking the interior out of this, what's left of it. I don't think the package tray is going to be of any use, but why not? I'd say that stuff would be good for patterns, but I don't know that the interior is going to be similar because it's going to take the shape of the Corvette, assuming those interior panels work. So, center console top, that can go. This is really gross. Push that. Yep. That's exactly what you want your structure to be. And that's how a lot of these were done, obviously, but we've got better ways of doing things now. So this is almost going to want to come out. Let me wreck this. Okay. Well, it's not going back to this. Oh, that's fun. Lots of roaches. Nice, good. Gross. Ooh, fire ants. Cool. Yep. Okay. I actually was smart for a change in wore gloves, so this is good. Got some galvanized Wheeling, West Virginia made ductwork pieces. Let's try not to get covered in roaches and fire ants if we can avoid it. I'll be able to. You can hear me shriek like a little girl. If the frog wasn't enough. Okay. Let me just get that away from me. Start cutting. Nothing in there is being kept. Actually, I'll probably keep the really cool engine turned piece here. But let's just start seeing what we ended up. Okay, that was a piece of wood, not a cockroach crawling on my leg. Good. Working on the trailer has its benefits. Also has its downsides. You just put everything underneath the car and sweep it out, including the roaches. Gross, gross, gross. So, I don't remember what chassis this is on. I think it's like a 51 Chevy, maybe even a truck chassis. But if I recall correctly, when Jeff picked this up, it was still owned by the same family who had built it. I think their father had built it. And, you know, I think he had probably told them we're going to probably put this on a Corvette chassis for a number of reasons. And apparently the family was in favor of that. They probably would have done that if they could have afforded to do it at the time. So it's kind of still in keeping with the original building intent, so that's nice. I don't really know how ants. Find out where the body connections are. God, there were so many roaches there. It was so gross. Be gone. Not much holding on. Obviously the steering column has to come out. You just barely see my cut is. Actually, I don't have to take the steering column out if I cut around it, which I think I might have. Let's see. Yeah. Let's just get right in here. Okay. Ooh, that's a nasty crack. Cable. Okay. I think that's the last piece. Yep. Yeah, I'd say that's not connected anymore. All right, that's all happening. The clip, the rear, the back windshield, the car's loose, the chassis is ready. So I've been taking some measurements, and shockingly, and I hope it remains true, most of this seems to line up, but the car tapers as it comes to the back. So I think what's going to have to happen is that somewhere around this point, these will have to get sliced, which of course means that the connection point will have to be altered, but I could just cut that moving forward, weld it, reattach it, or do something else. But we'll see.
I don't think you're gonna be able to get the line from this. We're not gonna.
Yeah, it doesn't weigh anything. Yeah, I was. Yeah, ass end first. Yeah, sorry about that. I got caught on the steering wheel.
I did it.
Ready? Okay. Up. all the stuff that I thought I was doing well by saving to keep stability in the car is kind of irrelevant and jammed me up. So all of the leftover cutoffs of the plywood that was laminated, that's all out. This is all out. I'm not sold that this needs to come out yet, and maybe I actually don't have to trim the rear package tray. I wedged myself between the back bumper and the strap where the gas tank was connected to and carved out some of the stuff on the back hump there. So I think it might actually fit now. All right, I think it's all riding on this center post here. Let's see. There are horrible noises happening. It's listing that way. All right, that's, yes. So this is a tight point in here, but I figured, I'm glad I carved those out. By the time this drops, it'll gain a couple inches because it'll basically be where the body line comes down. And the package tray, I think, is doing okay. Yeah, that might work. Whoop. Okay. That was there. Really, it was. The hood hinges. Okay. Drop this down a little bit. Leave it there. Oh boy, is this actually working? We're very close. I have to do, I think, one more trim. That's going the right direction in there. I think that's gonna have the clearance I need. Okay, we're getting close. Stay tuned. I'm starting to see a problem with the bird cage, which is the angle of it is probably not gonna permit the doors to be where I need them to. But that being said, this actually needs to move forward because that is too far back. So is this. You can see that's not gonna be good for where wheel goes. And same is true up there. So we also have a lot of working room. This can come forward. Gosh, what is that? 8 inches? So that would land the birdcage roll bar closer to back here, which would actually be a good thing. So we're getting really close. I'm gonna lower this, and that might put it on. Okay. So what I think I'm gonna do, it's looking really good. Where'd that clamp go? Clamps the block. Oh, danger zone. I think I have some trimming to do on the package tray after all. Okay. All right, cool. So my initial measurements were correct. That corner has to be cut out, but it's getting closer. All right, make some cuts and come on back here. Okay, here it is. The car is officially sitting on the chassis. I had a lot of trimming to do to get it to do the final fit, and by final fit I mean dry fit for now. But it looks a little tweaked down here, but that's actually because this fender needs to come out. That's about where the body line is supposed to be. So that angle you're seeing that's running a little bit afoul of the straight line here really wants to be doing about that. But it's sitting on the roll cage part of the bird cage. Plenty of tire clearance inside. Same goes for in there. It lines up so well. You can see exactly where the outside firewall is versus the inside firewall. It's sitting right on the firewall. It's like it was made for this car. The front tires fit under it really nicely. They've got a great little
great little tuck. You know, there'll have to be some adjustments made in here. The body needs to move, I think, a little bit to the passenger side, and we'll do a little bit of refinement once it comes to actually building the thing into a car that's actually connected to the chassis. The rear wheel opening, this was already screwed up previously. They cut it too big, even for the last chassis. So what I'm gonna have to do is probably bring that radius forward, I would say another 4 to 6 inches, and then fill in that back section, and that'll look really slick. But the Corvette chassis is completely unmodified. There was talk about maybe having to cut it a few inches short, but it did exactly what I thought it would do. Let me grab a light here so I can get up under there and show you what I mean. Let's see. It landed exactly where I thought it would. So that's the rear of the chassis, basically inside where the body line is right there. And it's very, very snug, which is great. Make connection very easy. The rear package tray, more or less intact. I over trimmed here, but that's okay. It's just fiberglass. That all needs to be finer trimming and glassed into the inside anyway to connect everything. But it works so well. And so I don't have to fabricate a rear package tray. I don't have to fabricate floors. I don't have to mess with the pedal assembly, the steering column, the brake master. Everything stayed intact. The worst of the interior is going to be putting a patch panel in there, which is flat. So that's not a bad thing. So this is just about, I think I kept track, 40 hours, maybe less. So literally one work week for those that work a 9 to 5, 5 days a week, to get to this point. And there's plenty left to do along the way here, but this is huge. I mean, I am so thrilled. And I have one goal now, and I've got a couple days to complete it, and I'm knocking on wood. I want to be able to drive this straight out of the carport. I'm not going to take it onto the street because of all the rubbing that's going to happen with the tires, but I just want to get it fired up, drive it to the end of the driveway, and I will feel like I fully accomplished this. I've got the temporary gas tank hooked to the fuel pump. I've got a new fuel filter on it. I'm going to spray some engine start in there. Got everything out of the way of the fan so nothing should hit it. Fire extinguisher is right behind me. Battery is connected. I think it's time. So let's start by turning this on, seeing if it leaks anywhere. It's going to be the most important thing. Nope. Okay. Start by spraying some of this in here. Choke it a little. Bring this with me. Okay. You know what? I'm going to bring the fire extinguisher to my side so it's one less step. Now, this did run when we parked last, which I think is about a year or so ago, so there's no reason why it shouldn't fire off, but there's probably a lot of reasons why it might not. So, let's get in here. Right. Out of gear, the wheel is chalked. Key is in. Almost. Okay. Okay, pretty much right away. That's good. Something's not happy. Okay, key off. Let's see. Nothing's caught fire yet. I can't see I can kind of see the fuel filter from here. It's also a possibility the fuel pump doesn't want to work. Let's see. Sounds like anger without mufflers. Okay. All right. Stay tuned. We're gonna get this thing. I'm gonna drive it. No brakes.
How do you feel?
First drive in 50, 60, 70 years.
Monster.
Okay, that's a wrap for the Victress this time around. We've got it to its temporary storage space, and we'll be featuring it on the channel again. Some final notes. The vacuum canister crash bar went back in. What I'll do is I'll cut 2 inches out of that, slide it back so it's not protruding from the grill. The lip of the hood lines up really nicely with the front firewall, so that got bolted down just to give it some stability. Put some just wood nailers in here just to give the body a little bit rigidity so it's not flapping so much. That's straightened out. The lower part of the rocker here aligned with the rocker of the car. Got the door on there just for looks. Good gaps around the perimeter. Here's what the birdcage looks like. It's right up against the roof. Rear package tray intact. And then the frame is pretty much right about in here, but I cut out more of the wheel well. And what Craig pointed out, which I think is what I'm going to do, is that this line up here, follow that down. So that's it for now. Stay tuned for updates.